Well, you know, politics is something that fascinates me at every level, and we are here today with a representative from a historic organization, the oldest LGBT Democratic Club in the United States, the Toklas Club. And we're here with one of its board members, Nathan Purkiss. Welcome.
Hi.
So, you know, something I've always wanted to ask someone. I've been in San Francisco now 26 years. Why Toklas? Why the name?
There's an actual history to that.
Yeah.
So Alice is the oldest Democratic club in America. It was founded in 1971. And, you know, at that time, it was only 2 years after Stonewall. And so...
before Harvey Milk.
Before Harvey Milk. Before a lot of change that had really happened.
Yeah.
And it was a time when people were really dealing just with the idea of coming out. And there were raids on bars that people were going out to. People could be arrested and all kinds of things. And so as the first Democratic club in America fighting for LGBT rights, Alice, they kind of used it as almost like it's like the Friends of Dorothy Club or something. It was like the, you know, kind of letting people know this is a place you can go if you want to advocate for LGBT rights, but, you know, you don't have to worry that your, you know, confidentiality is going to be a problem in coming out or something like that.
And
so
I mean, in 1971, that was a difficult year for the Democrats. I mean, you know, we're right in the middle of the end of the Nixon years.
Yeah.
I mean, did the original Alice Club were they in any way involved in the 72 Democratic Convention?
Yes, they were. And actually, so prior to the convention, Jim Foster, who was the founder of Alice, he worked in a club called the Society for Individual Rights. And it was one of the first LGBT Democratic, or it wasn't a Democratic club, but it was one of the first organizations fighting for LGBT rights. There was only a few. There was the Mattachine Society, the Daughters of Bilitis. Yeah, just a handful of clubs. And all of them were sort of informal advocacy groups. They weren't actually, you know, registered within the party. And so this group, the Society for Individual Rights, and Jim Foster, they started the first gay and lesbian community center. They started sort of creating a space for people to find other gay and lesbian people and transgender people. But one of the things that they started to do was they started to also do political activism. And they had a candidate for supervisor in 1969. This is a couple years before Alice was formed, and right around the time of Stonewall, a woman named Dianne Feinstein, who came to the club to speak. And she was, you know, there had never been a woman supervisor before at the Board of Supervisors. And San Francisco politics had been kind of dominated, well, it had been pretty much completely dominated by Irish Catholic politics. Yeah. And so...
along with the police and fire departments as well.
Yes, definitely, and everything that goes with that. So Dianne Feinstein was a first-time candidate for supervisor, Jewish woman, and, you know, wanted to go kind of run against this long-time established tradition of politics. And one of the things she did is she came and met with the Society for Individual Rights, this gay rights organization, and Jim Foster. And she reached out to them and brought the gay community in one of the first coalitions of the gay community and the women's vote kind of working together. And they helped Dianne Feinstein not just become the first woman supervisor, but she was the highest vote getter.
She became the president of the Board of Supervisors on her first time out.
Exactly.
I remember reading some, because I love this sort of ephemera, one of the descriptions of now Senator Feinstein back then is that pretty little lady from the sunset. And now you don't think, I mean, you know, with the pearls, and no, she's a powerhouse.
Arguably California's most powerful politician and successful in a lot of ways.
And certainly one of America's most, from her history, pro-gay politicians. I remember something that someone once wrote about Dianne Feinstein. They were criticizing her as not being pro-gay enough. And they said, you know, Dianne doesn't care who you sleep with as long as you're in bed by 11:30.
Yeah, and I mean, it was a pretty profound change in San Francisco politics, sort of the beginning of a coalition that, you know, following that, Jim Foster worked with Dick Congisto to make the first progressive sheriff, which was another shock to the political system because law enforcement had been traditionally a real problem for the community.
Not friends for the LGBT community.
A challenge, and I mean, arguably the laws were not friendly to the community, so it wasn't just law enforcement's fault, but law enforcement was also a part of the problem. And so actually having a progressive sheriff come into office, that really helped things too. So the Society for Individual Rights wasn't a partisan organization. It was a community organization that was there to represent everyone. And so Jim Foster realized, there's a real opportunity here to, have our community be part of the progressive coalition. And so he formed ALICE in 1971, and it was the beginning of our club, as it was the initiation of LGBT rights as an explicit component of the Democratic Party's vision.
Right. And of course now LGBT issues are front and center at the National Democratic Party.
Yeah.
You as a member of ALICE, what did you think when President Obama came out in support of same-sex marriage?
I was happy that he did. I thought it was just, I think that it was an important thing. Whenever people can move from, a position, I know my grandma actually had a real challenge with this. I thought that she's always been very supportive of me as a gay man and everything. And I was shocked that, marriage was one of those issues that was just really a challenge for her. And at first I was kind of hurt and frustrated that she wasn't with me on it. But then I realized that actually this is one of the places where there's an opportunity. People who are not sure, they kind of want to be with us on a lot of different policies, and then they move to being with us. I think it's a great thing, and I'm really happy that the president did, and we can just, as Democrats, walk forward with all of us, standing unified behind a position that's really critical for us. So
now, of course, certainly in San Francisco, and even statewide and national elections, the ALICE endorsement. It means something now.
It does, and it's done it historically. I mean, taking the Dianne Feinstein example, you had a local elected official that, ALICE members, and after ALICE was formed, we helped her with her candidacy, and she rose to the highest levels of office. And then you have, Supervisor Mark Leno went on to the state legislature and became the first gay state senator, gay male state senator. And so, we've really had a role in helping to groom leaders throughout the...
And not just members of the LGBT community. These are obviously a non-gay.
Yes, definitely. Jackie Spears, a great example.
Absolutely. One last question. Look into the crystal ball. We're here now a couple of months before the election. Who's going to win the presidency?
Oh gosh, Obama.
And is that because you hope, or you really think that, and I'm talking about the power of the gay vote. Do you think that's going to help? It's a close election.
Well, yes, definitely, and I think that that's a key part of it. Obama's smart. I believe in Barack Obama because I think he is taken an incredibly challenging situation with our economy and really has done so much to give people reason to believe in him with all of the different things that he's done. And, we would love to see him do more sometimes, but I think he's done an incredible job. But I think even more important, where the gay vote is going to really play an important role, is all of these congressional races and state races throughout California. We need to get our people out and active so that we can actually win some of those races, take back the House, and get 2/3 majority in California.
We'll see if you're right.
All right.
Thanks. We've been speaking with Nathan Purkiss of the Alice B. Toklas Democratic Club. Next up, we're going to learn about the historic Castro Street Fair from Fred Lopez. We'll be right back.